So the health of your gut affects the health of your whole body. Hippocrates said, all disease begins in the gut. So it's really important. We all have good and bad bacteria in our gut. And so the best way I can explain, so I want to get in a little bit so everyone understands what leaky gut is, and it's really important for your generation to understand this too, because you guys have an opportunity before having children to rebalance your guts. And just so you all feel better, most everybody has leaky gut in some way, so it's not anything that some people are just worse off than others. But so when so the average baby today has 287 toxins in their cord blood alone. So babies today are starting out toxic just from whatever we breathe in, what the mom breathes in, the thoughts, beliefs, whatever. We've introduced antibiotics, vaccines, whatever. All this stuff is, but the average baby's starting out with that in their cord blood. The mother, when the baby goes through the birth canal, the baby swallows a big gulp of what becomes their first inoculation of gut flora, their first bacteria. And so the average mom today, including myself, probably doesn't have very good gut flora compared to our great-grandmothers. So our great-grandmothers didn't have antibiotics, they didn't have vaccines, they didn't have processed foods, they were all breastfed, they didn't have this, they might have had stress, but maybe not to the level that we have today. They're not running a mile a minute, they're not breathing in so many toxins. So when you think about what they passed on compared to what we pass on, it was so much better. So we can't totally control everything, but that's why I'm passionate about controlling what we can. We can control what we put in our mouths. We can control what we put in our skin. Your skin's your largest organ and absorbs, I think, maybe like 60% of what you put on it, and that affects everything inside your microbiome as well. So your microbiome is, we all have good and bad bacteria in our guts, and you want to have, maybe 85% good, and that will keep the bad in check. And what happens when you introduce things, when you start out, the baby starts out compromised and it doesn't inherit good gut flora, then it gets a vaccine day 2 of life, then it gets an ear infection and gets antibiotics, and then it gets bronchitis and gets another round of antibiotics, and then it's not breastfed and it's getting soy formula, and then they're on to, baby food with pesticides, whatever it may be. They're breathing in whatever, and their bad bacteria starts to win out over the good. This is all stuff that's just hammering the good bacteria. And so when the bad starts to proliferate and take over, so when you have a round of antibiotics, you wipe out everything. So you're essentially starting over. So you have these, your gut is, food goes in your mouth, it should come all the way out the other side without going anywhere else, just right down through your digestive tract. You have these beautiful little villi inside your intestinal lining that are like grass-like villi that are absorbing nutrients and whatnot. And what happens when the bad bacteria outweigh the good is that they start to wear down. It's like having a lawnmower, just come in and cut them. And that protects, your lining. And so when those are cut down, the food particles and proteins and whatnot you get cracks in your lining, and they seep out and get into your bloodstream. And your body sees them as foreign invaders. So like, hey, who are these guys? What's going on? And so it launches maybe an autoimmune response, something like MS or lupus or allergies, or can cross the blood-brain barrier and have things like autism, ADHD, schizophrenia. So they wreak havoc. So keeping things in the gut is really important.